Good morning, wonks and scholars. It's a wonderful morning, and I'm excited to bring you today's daily briefing. I just want to start off over in the United Kingdom, where a petition calling for a ban on Donald Trump from entering the United Kingdom has gathered over 350,000 signatures. They like to do this over there. They like to do a petition and get a bunch of signatures, and if they reach, I think the number's 100,000, then the parliament has to actually publicly debate the issue. So that's more than three times the number required for the parliamentary debate. So they're going to have a debate in London, right in the parliament, whether Donald Trump should be banned from coming there. I wonder if they've had such a vote on, oh, how about the leader of Islamic State? How about 5 million other people? Have they had a vote on that? Or well, meanwhile, in a New York Times CBS poll, nearly two-thirds of American voters say they're concerned and or frightened about the prospect of a Trump presidency. Yet, nonetheless, Trump is increasing his lead nationally over the Republican field and is now getting over 35%. That 30% was an important threshold for him to get over nationally. And now he's rising within the Republican primary voters. Maybe it's a response to the growing hatred. So on the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is maintaining her 20-plus point lead over Bernie Sanders. And so all the focus really is on Donald Trump as it continues to be. Nonetheless, there is a backlash against German Chancellor Angela Merkel's pro-refugee open door policy, and the backlash is mounting big time. Her insistence that Europe can absorb potentially millions of new residents is basically starting to piss off many people in her country, as well as on the European continent. And many Germans are now actually publicly questioning her judgment, as well as her grip on power. Some other European countries are expressing negative sentiments as well, seeing rising fears that the crisis could actually cripple the European Union. One official from Hungary said Germany is seeking to impose moral imperialism on Europe. Now, this is quite a damning statement because we all know what happened the last time Germany tried to impose moral imperialism on Europe. So I think we're starting to see a real internal economic union conflict arising over the refugee crisis. So while England debates whether they should ban Donald Trump, the heart of Europe itself is struggling with the refugee issue, specifically even in Germany, where the backlash is starting to materialize into policy. Yesterday, the German cabinet approved plans to issue, now get this, asylum seekers plan to issue them identity cards that will be linked to a centralized data system in a bid to keep track of who's entering the country. And I'm just like, they're not doing this already? What are they giving them? Cookie and welcoming them? So I guess Germany's getting tough now on the refugees, making them identify who they are. So maybe that'll start to appease the economic union, and they'll be happy to accept million more refugees as long as they have an identity card. Wonderful. Meanwhile, today in Washington, President Barack Obama delivers remarks and signs the Every Student Succeeds Act. How nice. Every student succeeds. It's now mandated by federal law. So all my students watching this, you are required by law to be successful. But specifically in regard to how we'll start to see a little difference in local high schools or in public high schools. First, the No Child Left Behind Act is going to be this act replaces that and will return to states significant powers to determine how poorly performing schools should be improved and the authority of the Secretary of Education is curbed as well. I'll put together a much longer piece on this new act, but basically the droves of standardized testing are going to be quite reduced, and more focus and emphasis on skills and skills-based learning. But look, to me, the biggest news of the day is that oil prices are dropping. They're now dipping below $40 a barrel. A year ago, this would have been unheard of. So what's going on here? Let me summarize this just as succinctly as I can. This is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is producing oil at such a rate as to just drive down these prices dramatically. And there's every reason to believe that they're going to be able to do this for quite some time. And so we have to ask the question, why is Saudi Arabia doing this? They're trying to squeeze their competitors or enemies. It's oil, we want to call it business competitors. We want to call it geopolitics. The term is enemies. Who are their enemies? Well, first, Russia has moved into Syria. Well, what do you think Russia's ultimate goal is here? You think they just want to help stabilize the region? Yeah, that's probably true, but they have an eye on those Saudi Arabian oil fields. Huh? Yeah, they do. Also, Saudi Arabia's biggest enemy would be Iran. Driving down the prices of oil here is detrimental to Iran. And what's Iran about to be doing? Getting billions of dollars in released sanction money. So Saudi Arabia trying to hurt their economic income. And also it has an effect on the Islamic State, who the caliphate, the caliphate gets their income from smuggled oil, and the prices are down. It hurts them as well. And Saudi Arabia, although they are extreme Islamic fundamentalists, Islamic State is their chief enemy too, because they don't believe the monarchs have the right to power. So that's a Sunni versus Sunni issue. But meanwhile, in Saudi Arabia, not just the reduction in oil prices against their enemies, but women for the first time Saturday are going to be allowed to vote in elections. And this is an amazing step for a country where women are not allowed to drive and must require permission from male family members to travel, work, or marry. But don't be so excited here about civil liberties and respect for females. This is just local municipal election, like they get to vote for a trash collector. They're not voting for a new king. The king is not going up for election. Nope, not happening there. So a couple tidbits. Alaska Governor Bill Walker announced on Wednesday that he's proposing to institute personal income tax in the state for the first time in nearly 4 decades. So state of Alaska, they're going to start collecting income tax. And the Federal Reserve all indications are that they're going to be raising interest rates next week, which will start a progression of increased interest rates. So my advice to you, if you're planning to buy a house or a car, do it today. Do it this week. Do it this weekend. Go buy a house this weekend, because those prices are going to go up quickly. All right, wonks and scholars, there's your political briefing for the day. Sets us up for a great day. Be safe and eat breakfast. Go Falcons.